Having got introduced with Sontag, her life and work, now we shall go ahead with this essay, Against Interpretation. Now, what is her position? First of all, let's try to understand. She created a sensation in the mid 1960s with this essay, Against Interpretation. Means after this essay came, was published rather, I can say, she created a kind of sensation. Of course, she had made it clear that she was not against all interpretations of works of art, but she's writing against, the title itself is implicit. She's writing against, in opposition to interpretation. Interpretation is a process of reading a text and coming to the meaning. It's a process of reading and coming to the meaning, eliciting the meaning, I can say. So she's talking about or talking against the interpretation, but still she says that she was not against all interpretation of works of art. So her position here becomes associated with the idea of for art's sake. Now this is a very famous literary movement, art for art's sake and art for life's sake. Means that there were certain proponents of writer who thought that art is not for teaching people, not preaching people. It is for the sake of form. It is for the sake of beauty. So this is the aesthetic idea. Whereas those who thought that art is for life's sake, they thought that art is for teaching, giving moral lessons to people, preaching people. So her stand is on art for art's sake. Means her essay itself is suggestive enough. She does not, recommend interpretations based on the writer's life, social, cultural, political background. So her concern is here with form and style, not with morality and content. She is not talking about the moral lesson that we learn from any work of art, that is literature, and content means message. So her focus is on the form and style. Style, the way, the technique, etc. The way the message is presented, the technique used in presenting that message. So we talk about the narrative style, formal style, informal style, etc. So all these aspects are being considered here. And she later, considered that her approach was too polemical. Polemical means something which divides. Later she said she was attacking message mongering critics. Means through her essay, what she did, she attacked those who just try to find some or other meaning. They are, they are called message mongering critics. But she left herself open to the change of being a moral. Charge, sorry. She says, people may call me immoral without morality, but I'm ready for such kind of criticism. But however, in her essay of 1980, under the sign of Saturn, she corrected her position. Under the sign of Saturn is a collection of essays in which she explicitly argues that a work style or aesthetic properties. Aesthetic means the properties which create beauty in the work of art cannot be viewed in isolation from its creator's moral sensibility. So this has to be understood. Means form and content cannot be separated. They are inseparable. You understood it in the context of the discussion on form and content in Marxist criticism and literary Marxism and literary theory by Terry Eagleton. So we understood the views of what you call this George Lucas and his followers, Hegel, Marx, and all how the views we understood. So therein we had understood that form and content are inseparable entities. Even Karl Marx had similar kind of opinion. So C also corrected a position in a essay, in a collection of essays under the sign of Saturn. And sensibility is a key term in her vocabulary. She uses sensibility. Sensibility means an ability to understand, to sense others, okay, to imagine yourself in others' position, to have a sense of something. We say he has got a sensibility and an ability of understanding others. So she points out in the paperback edition of Against Interpretation and other essays. Actually, this is an essay, sorry, a collection of essays, and we are going to study one of the essays. Well, now here we'll stop. We shall continue our discussion in the next lecture.